to CREED News Hour, where our cryptid and paranormal stories come directly from you, our viewers. Settle in as we take you to a personal account of the things that go bump in the night.
I have a scary story about a time that I slept over at this girl's house when I was in 6th grade, and apparently the girl's grandmother had made a deal with the devil, and the things that happened that night still freak me out to this day. The details are specific enough in this story that I believe her, and she swears this is true. So Jay's like 12 when this happens. She's at the roller rink with a few of her friends where all the kids hung out. They run into this other girl that they go to school with who she calls Emily for the story. They went to school with Emily, but they never hung out with her up until this night. But they're all having a good time, and Emily invites them over for a sleepover at her house. So they check with their parents. Their parents are like, that's fine. They all go to Emily's house. The girls spend the night doing normal 6th grade girl sleepover things, eating snacks, gossiping about boys, watching movies. Nothing is strange except for the fact that Emily's grandmother also lives in the house, and she's weird. She walks in and out of rooms but doesn't acknowledge them, doesn't even look at them, like doesn't speak the entire time. It's time for bed. All the girls are in the living room, and right before they fall asleep, Emily says, by the way, my house is haunted, so if you see anything tonight, don't freak out. And some of the girls laugh, but this really unsettles Jay, and she's like, what are you talking about? Your house is haunted. She said at that point in her life, she did believe in ghosts. She had played with Ouija boards at other sleepovers and had some strange encounters with that. So she didn't like the fact that Emily just nonchalantly says, oh yeah, by the way, my house is haunted. So she's in her head about this. The other girls fall asleep, and she stays up for like another hour watching ridiculousness reruns, and then finally turns the TV off and tries to go to bed. She's dozing off when she hears a cabinet creak open in the kitchen. So she flips over, looks in the kitchen, and sees a cabinet door opening by itself. And then she says she sees a very prominent apparition of an older woman dressed in a long black tinted blue dress. She says she remembers this woman clear as day. She had her hair pinned back in a black bun on the top of her head, and she was staring out the patio door into the yard. Jay says she was trying to figure out who this woman was, and she's just staring at her when suddenly the woman notices that Jay is staring at her and jerks her head to look at her, and she has no eyes, just empty gray-black sockets. She shakes her friend that's sleeping next to her. Her friend wakes up, sees the apparition, and they both lock eyes and just realize how terrifying this is. The woman is still staring at them. Jay says that even thinking about it now, she wants to throw up. So her and her friend that are awake run upstairs into Emily's bedroom, and Emily's bedroom is so creepy at night because she has porcelain dolls all over her room on shelves covering the entire walls. They're like, we don't like this room, so they go into her little brother's room. Her brother was at her dad's house that night, so he's not there, but it's a very peaceful race car theme, very childish, just calming. We're up there for about 20 minutes, just like freaking out, talking about it when Emily comes upstairs and she asks where Tammy is. Tammy's the other friend that's still sleeping in the living room. Apparently Emily woke up, Tammy's not there, so they all go back downstairs to look for Tammy. They get back downstairs, they notice the basement door is cracked open, so they peek their heads in and they see Tammy at the base of the stairs marching in place and saluting something. They call her name, she's unresponsive, but they're not about to go in the basement alone, so they just go back up to her brother's room and talk about it, and they're like, this is actually really messed up to leave her down there. So they get the courage to go back downstairs and get Tammy, but when they get back in the living room, Tammy is now sitting in a rocking chair facing the fireplace with her hair covering her face, just rocking. Scream her name, she doesn't respond, so the girls freak out again, run back up into the brother's room, and they're up there for a little while talking about what to do when finally Tammy comes upstairs. Tammy's normal. She's like, why are you guys up here? They're like, we literally just saw you saluting nothing in the basement and then rocking in a rocking chair and you wouldn't wake up. And she thought that they were messing with her. So she's like, no, I wasn't. And she's like, I actually just had a really weird dream about a soldier. Tammy's like, I must have been sleepwalking. And the girls are like, no, you were literally possessed. The girls are all huddled up in the brother's room with the door closed, and Emily's telling them that they've had lots of activity in their house over the years, but she's never had a sleepover before. So maybe that's why the activity was more prominent tonight. And they start hearing running up and down in the hallway outside the door. Emily's like, yeah, this is pretty normal for my house. Like I told you, it was haunted. And they decide that they're going to call up some other girls they know, the toughest girls they know, the goth girl. She says, looking back, it was a very 6th grade thing to do, but the goth girls answer the phone. They're like, yeah, we'll come over. They lived up the street and they were excited to go ghost hunting in Emily's house. The goth girls get there, and now Jay says that she has found herself leading the charge of this ghost hunt. So she's like, yeah, I have to show you the basement. Like that's where we saw Tammy marching. They all go to the top of the basement stairs, and she's explaining what happened when all of a sudden she is pushed down the stairs. She comes to at the bottom of the stairs. She looks up at the top and she sees all the girls standing there and their faces are just shocked, pale white. She calls up from the bottom. She's like, what the hell? Did you guys push me? And they're like, no, you literally just flew down the stairs on your own. She says she goes back upstairs and the energy in the house seemed to change. She said they all started seeing apparitions like orbs, that woman again. And all of the girls are seeing this activity, like shadows flitting in and out. Suddenly Emily pipes up and she's like, I don't think they like you guys. And she closes the basement door and the activity stops. Jay decides she's had enough. Tammy decides she's had enough. Tammy's like, I'm going to call my mom to pick us up. So Tammy's mom answers. She's like, yeah, I'll come get you guys, but I can't be there for like an hour. Tammy's like, cool. So they're waiting. While they're waiting, they're like, where is your grandmother? And Emily's like, I have to tell you some things about her. She says it was common knowledge in her family that her grandmother made a deal with the devil for her firstborn son. And Jay says that she remembers saying that this was similar to the paranormal activity curse. So because of that, Jay says she doesn't know how much of Emily's story she actually believes, but she does know that Emily's grandmother only had one daughter, Emily's mom. And Emily's mom only had two kids, Emily and then her little brother. But she said the activity only started when her little brother was born. She says they were picked up, they were safe, but they didn't hang out with Emily again after this. She says she remembers the details so vividly and she believes that what she saw was absolutely real, but she's curious for other people's opinions. Do you think the girls were playing a hoax on her? Do you think they pushed her down the stairs? Has anyone else had a similar experience? Like, what do you think about this? Keep sending me your spooky, scary stories and I will keep adding them to this playlist. Also, I have...
Welcome back to CREED News Hour, where our cryptid and paranormal stories come directly from you, our viewers. Settle in as we take you to a personal account of the things that go bump in the night.